Speaking of quarterbacks, Cam Newton got benched this week.
He said he's been playing trash, so
he has not been playing well.
He understands.
So I want to talk about the New England Patriots for a little bit because, like, I think the situation they're in right now is very interesting, but I also think there's some things to consider that people are not thinking about. So they're like 2-5 right now in the lower end of the NFL. And there's been a little bit of whispers that, like, they might be tanking. And I talked about this, like, weeks ago, about the Patriots potentially tanking for Trevor.
Bro, I remember that was one of your questions when we first
Right.
We said New England would be perfect because Brady's about to retire.
New England, after this season, like, New England has a fuckload of contracts falling off. Dude, next season, New England has the most cap space out of any team.
So you
had a bunch of players opt out this season, right?
And give him his team.
Right. You tank for Trevor, who's going to be like a generational talent at quarterback with the best head coach in history.
That's smart.
And you have the most money in the NFL. Dude, the moment that Trevor gets there, everyone's going to want to go play with him. Like, you got Belichick and you got Trevor? Come on now.
Like, honestly, if
here's the thing too, dude. Like, in New England, they're crazy like this, bro.
Yes, bro.
They don't even have to get the first overall pick. They could trade up.
Bro.
Belichick would do it.
Oh my goodness.
They would. They're 2-5. Like, that's like they're in it right now.
That'd be insane.
That's something to really think about. And, you know, they're doing really bad. So, like, we talked about, like, Belichick and Brady, right? Like a long time ago. Like, how we felt that their respective successes would be, you know, Brady to Bucks and Belichick with Cam, right? And we thought about, like, whose legacy would hurt more, like, if one did better than the other, yada, yada, yada. One thing I think a lot of people forget is that the Patriots were trash last year with Tom Brady. Because they had no fucking receivers.
Exactly.
And they had a bad offensive line. They had hurt running backs and no receivers. So, like, I think it's very strange that, like, a lot of people are trying to act like the Patriots were expected to be good this season.
Good because they got Cam.
I don't... Like, here's the thing, right? Cam Newton, like, he's younger. He has a different skill set. So, like, there is something to be, like, desired there. But Tom Brady was in that system for, like, 20 years. You know what I mean? So, like, even if you're older and a little slower, like, dude, you know that system, bro.
Right.
Like, Cam, like, has to learn an entire new system on a short off season because of COVID. Like, even though he physically looks like he's doing a little bit better, like, what could we have expected? You know what I mean?
Right.
And they paid him the veterans minimum, so, like, they're not paying anything for him either. And he's on, like, a 1-year contract, so they could just dump him next season anyways.
Right.
So, like, I think it's weird. Like, a lot of people are talking shit about Bill Belichick, saying that, like, Tom Brady was the system. Like, Bill Belichick doesn't have a system. Tom Brady is a system. I don't particularly think that's true. I think Tom Brady's doing well because he has literally the best receiving core in the NFL. Like, bar none. I don't think anyone can question that. And they just added Antonio Brown. Like, come on now.
Right.
Antonio Brown's living with Tom Brady in Tampa. Like, come on now.
That's dumb.
Yeah, so I think everyone should pump the brakes a little bit on Bill Belichick. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like the Patriots. But, like, a lot of people are being very... They're not looking at the whole story here. Like, the Patriots sucked last year. And they weren't... I mean, they were okay the year before that. But, like, last year they were not good even with Tom Brady. That's why Tom Brady left. Tom Brady left because they wouldn't get him pieces.
Right.
So, like, I think Bill Belichick is just as good as he was. And Bill Belichick actually came out with a statement, and they're asking about, like, why they're losing. And he's like, we sold out. He said, you know, we went all the way in. We won 3 Super Bowls. We played in a 4th and then went to an AFC championship game. Now we don't have any more money. He said all of our cap space is gone. We can't afford anybody. So we're losing now. And he said, I'm not making excuses. Those are just facts.
I mean, that's true, though.
It is true. I mean, think about it, right? Like, those 3 Super Bowls are worth it.
Right.
And you got to think about, like, what the Rams did. The Rams sold out. And then they didn't get shit. Right. They went to the Super Bowl and then lost to the fucking Patriots.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, like, what do you think? I feel like selling out and just going all the way in and, like, getting a ship, like, that's better than
never getting one.
Right. Like, you know, playing it safe and, like, draft and develop and all this shit. Like, I'd rather, like, go all the way in, get a ship, and then be shit for a few years.
Right.
because we can't afford anybody.
Especially because I'm gonna go so in, I could at least get 2 or 3 years that I
maybe
should win.
right. Well, that's the thing, right? Like if you go all the way in, you got a couple of years, right? It's not just 1 year,
right? You get
so like
extras.
not only like could you get a ship, like you might even get a second. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I feel like that's worth it. But I think what
it.
Belichick is saying like is true too. Like I respect what he's saying, and I actually respect the position that he's in too, because they were asked last year. It's just that nobody wanted to talk about it. However, I don't think Tampa's playing as good as I was expecting them to play either, though. They haven't been like lights out the way that I was anticipating.
Yeah, that's true.